Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you here. If you will, like, share, comment on the post, and then if you like, you can join me in Genesis chapter 18, beginning in verse number 2. Think about that for a moment. Genesis 18, verse 2. And here it says, He lifted up his eyes, he being Abraham, and looked, and behold, 3 men were standing in front of him. When he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them, and bowed himself to the earth, and said, O Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, do not pass by your servant. Let a little water be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourself under the tree, while I bring a morsel of bread, that you may refresh yourself, and after that you may pass on, since you have come to your servant. So they said, Do as you have said. And Abraham went quickly into the tent to Sarah, and said, Quick, 3 seahs of fine flour, knead it, and make cakes. And Abraham ran to the herd, and took a calf, tender and good, and gave it to a young man, who prepared it quickly. Then he took curds and milk, and the calf that he had prepared, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree while they ate. Interesting passage. It seems like just kind of a part of the story, just some information for us along the way. And to some extent it is. But I do think there's one kind of underlying lesson here that we see. Abraham, let's remember, is one of the most powerful men in the area, in the entire region. He's sitting there one day, and he looks up, and he sees 3 men standing nearby. Generally, these men, by most people's account, I suppose I won't say everyone, but by most accounts, this was the Lord Himself and two of His angels. If you look in verses 1, verse 10, verse 13, and then down verse 14, you'll see pretty clearly that's who it is. When Abraham realized who it was is difficult to tell. Most likely, down here in verse 10, when the Lord said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah your wife shall have a son, most likely along about there, Abraham was probably picking up on something because this is basically a repeat confirmation of the promise that God had given him. Maybe he recognized him from the very beginning. Not sure exactly. We don't have that detail. What we do see is, regardless of, I think probably before he realized who it was, that he runs out to meet these men. He didn't have to do that. He could have let them go on by. Could have sent a servant to wait on those. He's an old man at this point. He's probably kicked back, taking it a little bit easy, maybe meditating, maybe thinking about the previous promise of God. Don't know. But whatever it was, Abraham saw these travelers, knew that they would be tired. We see that by the preparations, by the hospitality he offers to wash their feet, to feed them, and provide for their needs. Goes out of his way to meet their needs. Goes in and tells Sarah to make bread. Has a young calf killed. He sees these men, and when he sees them there in verse 2, he bows to meet them. And so maybe at that point, Abraham had recognized who it was. But whatever it was, he wanted to spend some time with these men, show them some hospitality. Again, water to drink, water to wash their feet, food, opportunity to rest, all these things. He gets Sarah involved. He gets his servants involved. He gives them the best he had. He personally, it says here, went and selected. He chose. He ran to the herd and took a calf. He didn't send a servant to do this. This was an important task for him. And so he goes and chooses the calf that they're going to have. And he serves them himself. He doesn't have one of his servants do that. And so he's actively involved. He stands off, if you read, he stands off to the side. Down here, he ran to the herd, he took the curds and set about it, and he stood by them. He stands off to the side in the position of like a servant would when the servant served his master. He doesn't sit down with them. Another kind of indication that he recognized who it was that was there, that as he stands off to the side. One of the things that, as I think about this passage, I think about what an example Abraham is for us of humility, of hospitality, of service, caring for others. Go back to his interaction with Lot, when he gives Lot the first choice of land. He has, when he rescued the people of Canaan, including his nephew from the invaders, how he takes Hagar back after she runs away with his son. Abraham is an example of humility. He is an example of service. He's a busy man. He's a wealthy man. He's got a lot going on, and yet he takes time to serve others. That's just, as I read this, that's the thing that sticks out to me. And the great example that Abraham is. I'm reminded often, it's been probably 40 years ago. Matter of fact, the church is not, well, the building's still there, but the church itself is not there any longer. And some of you have heard me say this before. Church in Kannapolis that I passed pretty much every day, I had a sign that struck me and has stuck in my mind for all these years. It says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I would tweak that just a little bit and say they don't care what you know until they know how much you care. They don't care. You can't tell a hungry man about Jesus. You can't tell a cold man about Jesus. You can't tell you have to show them you care. Abraham is an example of that in numerous places, and here is just another place where he shows his humility, his willingness to serve, his compassion for others. One of the things that should be a mark of all believers, not just part of us, but all of us. We all have different gifts. We all have different talents, but all of us can be kind. All of us can be hospitable. All of us can be nice. We can all be helpful in different ways. So all of us can offer help in different ways. Some people can go build handicap ramps. Some people can provide food. Some people can just provide whatever. But all of us can be nice to those around us. We can be humble and show service, acts of service to those around us. You think about it. You have a good day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.